Hello. Good morning. I forgive you. Hello. Good morning, everybody. I forgive you. Even me? Okay. Maybe except 10 Rose. Those are definitely some morning sounds. Bau-bau baru bangun. Aku udah bangun dari jam 6 ya. Sorry. I've already woken up since 6. Because my biological clock doesn't let me go to sleep anymore past that. I don't forgive you. What an odd thing to say. There's nothing to be forgiven about who? Why would you boot Pico Park? AC Walker, why would you, out of all games you could have... Okay, I'm not gonna get rage baited. It's fine. It's fine. You wanna play Pico Park? Go play Pico Park. It's fine. It's fine. I'm calm. Okay? I'm calm. I'm gentle. I'm so demure. I'm not gonna get rage baited. Okay? Okay? This is a new arc. This is a new era. Hi. Also, what an odd thing to say. You don't forgive me? That's fine. There's nothing about me to forgive. I'm literally perfect. Who just booted up Mech Warrior Online? Hi again, Kay. Can you wish me a happy birthday so that I am immortalized in digital form? Happy birthday! Oh, wait. Happy birthday, Skygazer8549. I can't read, I'm sorry. I hope you are having a wonderful birthday. Hell yeah. Happy birthday, my guy, girl, non-binary monarch. Yes. But yeah. Also, let me scroll a bit. Since it has no notification on Steam. Hey Kay, I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV. Lucky! Final Fantasy XIV on a Monday morning. Lucky! I could be playing Final Fantasy XIV. Who just booted up Resident Evil 5? What the fuck? I could be playing Final Fantasy XIV. Actually, no, I haven't subbed in a while. Not because I don't want to, but because I want to be able to focus on continuing Dawn Trail when I do go back to FF14. And I don't have that kind of focus on me right now yet, so I'm not gonna sub just yet. Why don't you play Final Fantasy XIV? Shiva, come here. Chris, come here. Chris, come here. Chris, come here. Chris, over here. What's gonna be really scary is when she sees someone else boot up VTube Studio. No, that's not scary. I highly encourage you guys to become VTubers. That almost sounded like Satan himself trying to drag you to hell, but like, you know, I highly encourage you guys, if you ever want to try streaming or VTubing, to try it yourself. Do I risk opening the Steam for a bit? I'm friends with some people at work. Hello, Kay. How are you doing? And where is the train going? The train is going nowhere. I'm literally just riding it out from one point to the end because riding on trains makes me feel like an anime protagonist. Wait, aren't you Satan? Wow. Okay, dude, sorry. Like, I didn't know we were gonna dox each other like this. Rude. Is this some MLM BS? Why, you guys don't believe me? Like, I have single-handedly pushed... Let me count. 1, 2, 3. I have single-handedly pushed 4 of my friends to try VTubing. Did all of them enjoy it? No? Did all of them end up enjoying it? No. Did half of them get traumatized? Maybe, but like, it's like I'm a supportive friend. Like if somebody says they want to start VTubing, I'd be like, okay, I'll give you like my holy grail, my Google Drive of VTubing. Okay, lesson number 1. What have you done? I have done many things. Good morning, Karma. Good morning. Ini kayak naik kereta Bogor Jakarta kota tapi nggak turun gitu ya. Aku tidak mengerti referensi itu karena aku tidak pernah tinggal di Jabodetabek. Pernah setahun doang. Tapi itu aku jarang naik kereta karena aku punya motor. I don't understand that reference because I have never lived in Jabodetabek or the capital. Well, I did for like a year, but like I had a motorbike, so I rarely took the train. But I'd imagine if I took the train from Bogor to Jakarta, it would be like this then. Says who? Says me. Can any Bogor homies back me up? Look at the non-Jakartan and laugh at her. Are you sure I'm the one who needs to be laughed at? Okay, it's okay. Laugh at me. I'm from Bali. Traffic here sucks anyway. So, yeah. But yeah, alright. And first of all, happy Lebaran, everybody. Congratulations on everybody who has been fasting for Ramadan. Ramadan Mubarak. I hope that if you're celebrating, maybe some of you are actually like, mungkin ada beberapa dari kalian yang lagi mudik kali ya. Maybe some of you are with your families right now. Well, I hope you're doing fine. I hope it's been a wonderful time with your family. I hope you ate a lot of good food. I hope you get a shit ton of money. That's like my number 1 prayer for you. Go get that bag. Look, man, let me have this. Okay. You know what? I'll let you. I'll let you have it because like you're currently playing Final Fantasy 14 and I'm not, so that's a win. Bang minta THR, Bang. Sayang sekali saya tidak dapat THR ya. Kenapa? Karena saya freelancer. I would love to give you guys some THR, but unfortunately, I do not get any THR from my workplace. Why? Because I'm a freelancer. I am my own boss. Oh, man. I miss riding trains, non-local or interstate. I remember fixating on the starry sky, riding the Empire Builder Seattle to Chicago. I grew up in the city. Oh, it sounds so nice. I'm on my 3rd day of having breakfast with rendang and opor. My stomach is deteriorating. Somebody sent my family a bunch of kikil. What's kikil in English? I don't know. Kikil in English. Gravel. The fuck? The cow ankle bones. What? No, it's like the kikil is like the cow skin, right? It's like the cow skin, like the chewy part of like the trotters of a cow. You're eating rocks. How no, it's not rocks. It's basically like the cow skin from like the cow's like legs, the lower legs, the trotters and everything. So yeah, very chewy, kind of spicy, but somebody sent us like an entire Tupperware of it, and I've been eating that for like 3 days now, and I think I've gotten to a point where I'm sick of it because, you know, as the name suggests, it's like cow skin, like cow trotter, so very gelatinous, very chewy, very bouncy. It's like eating like a fatty, spicy, savory gelatine. And yeah, I can't eat too much of it, so now I have to eat something else. What a kill. Like eating rubber. Yeah, eventually, eventually, if it's not served at like at least a warm temperature, because it's so fatty, and fatty things tend to like, they tend to harden and gelatinize. Oh my god, yeah. That makes a kick-ass broth. I wouldn't eat it raw. Yeah. Cracklins is what we call cooked animal skins in the South US, but they're crispy. Yeah, we also have our version of cracklins, but imagine instead of like being fried, instead of being crisped up, it's actually soft, It's actually like stewed, so I know that the texture isn't for everybody. I also had to teach my Dutch cousin, because my Dutch cousin came to Indonesia to have our little family reunion with the extended family and everything. I had to teach him how to eat oxtail, soup buntut, which was really funny because my aunt held like an open house about 2 days ago, where she invited like a lot of like friends of the family, a lot of her coworker, extended family, relatives, acquaintances, and whatnot. And she had set up like this entire table buffet style. You have your typical like lontong, which for the non-Indonesians, lontong is like it's like a log made of rice. That's the best way I can describe lontong. But yeah, we also have like our usual gulay, curries, whatnot, soups. We also had like meatballs and noodles and everything. And then there was like this big, massive steaming pot. And I was stirring it up and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I scooped up a scoop, and it was a freaking pot, a big ginormous pot of oxtail soup buntut, right? I wish it's been a long time. What the hell, Edo? What the hell? I'm finally free. Oh my goodness gracious. What the hell, dude? Welcome back. I missed you. No, I don't. Get out of here. No. I missed you. It's good to have you back. I hope you're doing fine. Holy shit. But anyway, yeah, he got shackled during Ramadan. First thing, he got shackled during Ramadan, and the first thing he says to me is, "Hi, bitch." Wow. How very chivalrous of you. Hey, yo, it's the funny mod too. Hi, Kay. Hi, everyone. Hi. Oh, hey, Edo, I thought you died. Seriously, I thought he died too. Apparently, he's still alive. So, my Dutch cousin cannot eat any spice. Oh, when I say that my cousin is Dutch, I don't mean that they're like Indonesian who happens to live or migrate at some point to the Netherlands. When I say my cousin is Dutch, I mean Dutch. I mean they're white. I feel like that's an important information here. So when I say that this particular cousin is Dutch, I don't mean they're Indonesian and they just happen to be like a Dutch citizen or they migrated there. No, I mean they're Dutch, they're white. And they cannot eat spice at all. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, you mean like they can't handle like hot, like spicy, like chili, right? But like surely they can handle, like, let's say if you serve them like sweet, slightly, very slightly spicy satay. Remember guys, I have a low tolerance for spice too. I'm literally the weakest in my family, and I still think like those kind of satays are actually, it's nothing for me. Yeah, he can't eat it. On God K, late 19 minutes, do you still forgive me? I forgive you. Just for this time. I thought you were talking about diaspora. Oh, no, no, no. I have like a couple of cousins who are diaspora. I have one who also lives in the Netherlands and another who currently works in Germany. They are Indonesians who happen to live in the EU. But this cousin of mine, he's not Indonesian by blood. He's white. So yeah, we were like, I was like trying to help steer him away from the food that I know was gonna be, I assume was gonna be too spicy for him. Now that I have a better consideration of like where his spice level is and everything, and then he looked at the big pot of cousin by marriage, blood, or just a family friend that we all call cousin. Cousin by marriage. Cousin by marriage. But I treat him like I treat him like a brother anyway. I treat him like my cousin anyway, so I say cousin. And then he saw like the big pot of oxtail soup, and he was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I was like, "Oh, oxtail soup." And then his wife, my actual blood related cousin, came and she was like, "Hey, you should take a bowl. You know, it's like literally the spotlight of the buffet." But he was like, "Oxtail, I don't know. It's scary. Doesn't look that appetizing." And then and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't look that appetizing to you." But inside I was like, "Bro, don't be a colonizer right now." I mean, I love the guy, but I tease him all the time. I was like, "Oh, you don't think my food's you don't think our food's appetizing? Huh? Surprise, surprise." Come up to him, walk up to him with the "We haven't forgotten." So yeah, and then we all sat down, and then everybody and the guest starts eating and whatnot. And then he looked around and he saw that everybody had a bowl of oxtail soup, right? Semuanya tuh kayak punya sup buntut gitu kan. And then he was like, "Wow, why is everybody like eating it so hungrily? Is it like that good?" And I was like, "Dude, you're missing out, you know." Like, I imagine me saying that to him while waving around like the remains of my oxtail, so just the bones. He's like, "Dude, dude, you're missing out on life, man, if you pass out on like oxtail." And then like if you're lucky enough, might even get an oxtail that has like bone marrow in it. And he was like, "Bone marrow?" And he's like, "People eat bone marrow?" And I was like, "Dude, what the hell did you eat growing up?" And he was like, "I ate mostly potatoes." And I was like, "Oh." Damn, he's so white. Aurel, thank you so much. I always love being here. Keep being you, Karma. Thank you so much, Aurel. Happy holidays too if you're celebrating. Bone marrow mention. I know. I feel like, I don't know. I always thought that it's like common knowledge to everybody in the world that bone marrow is good. You know, bone marrow is treasure. So, I guess this is like an eye-opening moment for me where I have to learn that, oh, actually, not everybody knows that oxtail is a delicacy, especially like the bone marrow in it. So eventually, we got him a bowl, and then his wife, my cousin, help him like separate the meat from the bone. But you know, like it's oxtail soup. The oxtails have been simmering there for hours. It's like fork tender by now, right? So obviously the meat, it's so succulent and juicy. Sorry, I'm hungry. Oh man. Honestly, I think European nations typically eat the musculature of an animal when it comes to meat, so marrow and organs aren't that common for us, huh? I always thought that, I don't know, even Europeans would try to eat every part of the animal that you hunt and butcher as you can, because it's like, like not wasting meat and all that. But I'm not European, so I wouldn't know. But like that's his first experience of like trying oxtail and bone marrow, and I saw as he scooped up that oxtail meat, and then he put it in his mouth, and he was like, it's so good, and it's not even spicy, but like it's so good. And I'm like, I'm telling you, bro, I'm telling you, like, people don't want to listen to me. Listen to me, okay? Like why do people even insist on using ChatGPT? If you want like information, you can just ask me. Also, I'm beautiful. I too can give you misinformations, Also, I'm hilarious. I am currently listening to you good. But yeah, some of my extended family is still staying in this city right now. I think they're actually planning to have like lunch together. My mom asked me earlier before I started the stream, like, oh, do you want to come have lunch with a few of like the family members, especially like my Dutch cousin and my cousin, because we don't get to see them that often. But I was like, I think if we're gonna have like family dinner later, I can make it, but I don't think I can leave now. She was like, why? And I was like, because I gotta do my streams. So you see, guys, sometimes I do prioritize you guys, I'm listening but not taking the advice. Fair. But can you go into self-destructive crash out like ChatGPT? I sure can. All natural too. You do? But yeah, aside from that, I don't think I did much during like my sorry, I'm gonna turn on my AC. It's like weirdly really hot here. I don't think I did much over like the national holidays and everything. I think even now it still counts. Today and tomorrow still counts as like national holiday too, right? It's not done, right? Itu jatuhnya masih cuti bersama kan, guys? I know even though it's still like technically a national holiday for today and tomorrow, I know some of my friends have already been called into office anyway. So if you're working, semangat. WFH, aha, just like me. Gak ikut cuti bersama. Semangat. Kan bate. Kampus sudah masuk rebo. Oh yeah, Wednesday's already. I mean, yeah, I think Tuesday is the last of the national holidays and everything. So yeah. Hold on, I gotta. Why is it so hot in here? And I'm not talking about me. Hold on. Tidak ngaruh karena freelance, tinggal di gua everyday. Me. It doesn't matter to me because I'm a freelancer. So unfortunately during holidays I don't get bonus pays, and it's up to me to decide when my holidays are, and most often is that I don't get holidays. I don't think I've told you guys this, but you see, most of my family are aware that I went to art and design for my studies, right? So they know that I have a background in art, and by this point, so do you guys. But the thing is, most of my families, or except maybe like my brother and my mom, they don't know that I'm a weeb. So anytime like there's like a family function, family reunion, family dinner, just like just like what's happening right now, because half of my family is celebrating Ramadan and everything. I have to LARP. As a normie. It's very painful, but I have to do. It's very painful, but I have to do it. But during family dinner 2 days ago, one of my cousins found out, and it was my 40-year-old baddie of a cousin. She's such a baddie, but like she's a relatively new cousin because she only recently got married to my cousin, so I've only been introduced to her like for maybe like a year or so, so I've been like masking really hard because I'm like, okay, I've only like recently been introduced to her, don't want to freak her out and everything. And then like one day, like after dinner, I was like lounging around in my aunt's like living room and everything, and then she came, sat with me, and we were like talking about dinner, just like blah 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 blah, cousin-in-law, blah 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 blah. And then she was like, "Oh right, your mom told me you like to draw, right? You also do like freelancing, like design and art and everything." And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, and then she said this. I shit you not. She said this. My 40-year-old baddie of a cousin, who I've been trying to mask so hard, and then she said the sacred words of, "Oh, so that must mean you go to Komifuro a lot, right?" And I was like, I mean, guys. I was like, I mean, yeah, yeah. And then she was like, "Oh my god." I was like, I finally had to relent and say yeah, and I was like so ready for the judgment, But turns out she was like, "Oh, phew, I love going to Komifuro too." Like, my cousin is actually like an avid booter in like Komifuro. She even goes to like cons in Australia, LA, Paris, and everything. And I was like, "Wait, you're a weeb?" And she's like, "Yeah, I mean, I like those drawings of, And I was like, "No, I don't know, big sis. Like, what kind of drawings do you like?" And she's like, I like cute stickers and everything." And then she added, "But I sometimes also like, guys." Okay, you like drawings of anime guys, that's it. And she's like, "Yeah, especially if they're like kissing other guys." And I'm like, I got a I got a 40-year-old Fujoshi baddie as a cousin. I was like, So I was like, I see. You know what's really funny? Me and her started talking about like, "Oh, so you like BL, huh?" And she's like, "Oh, so you're familiar with BL." And I was like, girl, I've been Oh man. Finally, you don't need to LARP anymore. I can only be my true self somewhat with her, because after she told me that she liked BL, you know what else she told me? She basically told me like, "Oh, since you're into like Japanese, are you like in like the Japanese the Indo weeb community, K?" And I was like, "No, not really. I've been a weeb since I can remember, but I've never really been like an active part of like local weeb communities and everything." She's like, "Oh, okay, okay. Well, do you know that usually like people who like Japanese things and animes and weeb stuff in Indonesia, they sometimes also sing?" And I was like, uh yeah, I think I've heard of it. And she's like, "Yeah, I think they're called like utaites, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I think that's what they're called." And she's like, "Oh, cool. Well, like two of my besties are like Indo utaites. I'm so proud of them. Like they actually have like quite a big following." And then like they showed me their YouTube channel, and I was like, I've never heard of them before. I've totally have heard of them before, but I was like, "Oh, like this is my first time hearing about them." That's a lie. I was like crying. Was it oomph? I wouldn't say that they were oomph. Don't think that they know who I am. Again, some people don't believe me when I say this, but I've never actually been like active in like local otaku, utaite, or even like weeb communities. It's always mostly been me. And now as an adult, I'm slowly spreading my wings, but even then, it's like mostly limited to just me and my friends, our little own like manga club and everything. So it's not really oomph, but it's definitely a name that I am very familiar with. So that's why I was like, but here's the funniest thing is that while me and her were like talking about like, "Oh, like so BLs, but like other than BLs, are you like interested in anything else?" She was like, "Oh yeah, I love clamp and everything." And I'm like, "Never divorce from my cousin. I will not allow you to leave my family, big sister. Nesan, you can never leave this family. I'm just letting you know." The funniest thing is, while me and her were bonding over like, old ass animes and like BL and everything, I have one cousin in the family who is like who is sorry, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this, but like I have one cousin in my family who is like severely homophobic, like severely homophobic. I have friends who are like, yeah, like I guess like my because I have such a big commitment to my faith, I can't say that I accept gay people, but like if there's like queer people in medias, that's fine. I'm not gonna protest about that. But my cousin is severely homophobic to the point that it's kind of funny, because because sometimes we would be like, "Oh yeah, blah 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 blah," and I was like, "Oh yeah, big sis, didn't you say you were watching this TV series? Are you finished with it? Did you like it?" And she would be like, "No, I had to discontinue it." And I was like, "Oh no, what happened?" And she's like, "It's because they had gay people in it. I hate gay people." and and then I had to be like, "Oh, I see." And she'd be like, "Yeah, did I tell you, have I ever told you how much I hate gay people? And I'm like, yes, you have. Yes, you have several times, big sis. So like every I was there sitting in the sofa with my baddie cousin, talking about BL and everything. And every time that homophobic cousin like walks by, she would be like, "What are you guys talking about? Not gay people, I hope." And we'd be like, "Oh no, no, no. We were just talking about food." Yeah. Right, big sis? And then my 40-year-old cousin is like, yeah, we were just talking about food. And she's like, okay. And then she passes by, and we were like, anyway, so about Black Butler. Not the gay people, not the gays, not the queers. Oh man. That's some real closet behavior, honestly. I mean, I don't know. But yeah. I guess that particular cousin is on a different level of condemnation towards queer people, to the point that I've seen her drop so many things just because, like, oh, I really like this movie and TV show, but like the actress playing this character, I think she's like a lesbian or something. I can't do that. I can't watch that. I'm dropping it. And I was like, oh, I see, big sis. What did you say the TV show was again? Just for a note, just so I can tell people like, hey guys, don't watch this. I'm jealous, man. My brother just broke up with his Fujo. What? No! Why would your brother do that? Why did he break up with his Fujo girlfriend? Yeah, that's me. Oh my god, that's terrible. That's terrible. Where? Oh man. Also my Fujoshi cousin, like I asked her like, okay, like if you like BL, like which fandom is like your top ones right now? And she's like, I like Voltron. And I was like, oh, of course you like Voltron. She thinks they're lesbian. Oh man. But yeah. Oh no. No, pull back. Babe, not the Voltron stuff. I don't know. And she told me like, oh yeah, like yeah, I like the whole Black Butler thing. I was like, old but gold, sure. She's like, I like Voltron. And I was like, oh. Oh. I'm gonna be the first person to laugh if she changes her perspective. That has been the case many times for me. Have I told you guys the story of how... I don't know if this is like a nice story, a nice thing to happen to me or not. It infuriated some of my friends back then, but I'd like to think of it as something funny. But the first few years of me going to college, and I attended a college that was in a different city, in a whole different island from where my hometown is. So it was also like after living so long in my hometown, where there were like many people who, shared the same beliefs as me and everything. Going to college was really my I wouldn't say like my first taste and everything, but after a while, I have now opened my wings to befriending people from a diverse variety of backgrounds and everything, right? And then during one of my first few years of college, I had two people. Again, this might infuriate some people, but trust me when I say, looking back, I can just laugh at it now. I had two people who, for some reason, had this kind of fixation on me, and for some reason, they desperately tried. They both had this thing where they were both trying to convert me into their respective faiths. So each of these two had like different fates and everything, and for some reason they had this kind of fixation on me, both of them, and at the same time they were both trying to convert me to their fates, and it was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life, you know. It was like the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life, because my best friends at the time, they were so angry with it. They were like, that's so fucking disrespectful, you know, like, leave Kay alone. And then I was like, no, wait, I want to hear what they're proposing. Sounds like a cult thing, Kay. I do think it was low-key kind of a cult thing. But the funniest thing was, like, my friends really were trying to protect me, you know? Every time, and like they were both guys. I don't know if that added to like the creep factor, but like to my friends it did. So every time one of them would approach me like, hey, like, can I talk to Kay? My friends would be like, no, leave her alone. And then I would be like, no, guys, it's okay. I kind of low-key, I kind of want to hear what you're proposing, you know? Like, can I at least hear it? I'm gonna say no, but like, can I at least hear it? I remember the worst thing that one of them did to me is one day they stopped doing that to me, and I was like, oh, did they finally stop, you know? Did somebody like punch some senses into their face or anything? And then one day I passed one of these guys by in like the cafeteria area of my campus and everything, and they were actually like polite to me, you know, for once, and they didn't bring up the whole like, would you like to convert to my religion kind of thing. So I was like, oh, you know, you're actually polite. I'm so glad we can have like a civil conversation for once, you know. Like, I'm so glad I can get to know you a bit other than your little, you know, conversion obsession and everything. Blah 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 blah. And then he was like, oh, actually it's like getting late. Do you wanna like grab some food? And I was like, yeah, sure, man. Like, you in the mood for something? And they're like, oh, I know a place. So we walked and talked, and I was like, you know, when you're not like a when you're not a religious fanatic, you're actually kind of chill, you know. Okay, it's fine, right? Blah, 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 blah. And then there's like this street behind my campus where it's just like affordable, cheap, like food, you know, for students and everything. Isinya tuh kayak warung-warung gitu lah, guys, gitu kan. Very popular with the students and everything. So he took me to one of the stalls there. And on the table of that stall, a big table, mind you, okay, there were already like 5 people sitting down. Turns out those 5 people are like his seniors. Basically like his senior from his little like religious mentoring group, you know. So it went 180 from like, you know, you're actually not a terrible guy when you're not a fanatic. It went from that to like, hi Kay, why don't you? He took you to a church technically, yeah. And it's so funny because there was a whole like switch of me being like, oh man, let's call this first guy like Michael, you know. It's like, oh Michael, you know, like when you're not like a religious fanatic and being a total creep to me, you're actually like really chill. I'm so glad that we can. Oh. you, you want to know the funniest conversation I had? I mean, by that point, my alarms were like blaring and everything, and I was like, oh shit, okay, you gotta come up with a reason to like, I don't know, get out of there, you know. But then like the senior, one of them was like, hey, like you must be Kay, sit down, we were just having dinner, blah 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 blah. And then they start like piling my plate with food, and I was like, ooh, free food. Michael, you're so funny. The funny thing is how you kept laughing no matter what. I like during that time, I remember just being confused as fuck, but now, you know, future me, years ahead now, looking back, I can just laugh at it. uh, but yeah, I was like, oh, I gotta go. Like I still live with my aunt here, and I have a curfew. I have to adhere to like her house rule, and I have a curfew and whatnot. But then the seniors were like, "Oh, why don't you at least eat up before you leave?" And then they piled my food. They piled my plate with food, and I was like, "Oh, free food! Don't mind if I do." You know how you know that scene in like Shrek 2 where Shrek and Fiona was having dinner with Fiona's parents, and it was super awkward, and Donkey was like, oh, I'm just gonna go out of here. But then the chef comes in with all the food, and they're like, dinner is served. And then Donkey was like, oh, never mind, I'm gonna stay. Mexican food, my favorite. And then that was me. I was like, you know, like seniors, you're so nice, but like I gotta go. Is that grilled duck? Maybe I will stay. like okay, maybe I will hear you out. Not saying that I'm gonna get converted, but like, you know, it's grilled duck. So I'll give you a listen, right? And then I remember the funniest thing. I'm sorry, I just had like the stupidest survival instincts back then, but like, oh, they wanted you. They're bringing out duck. Oh man, I don't know what it is about me that made these two particular classmates of mine so like fixated on me, but one of my friends theorized that I might be the first Balinese person they've ever met in their life, and maybe somehow that made me unique in their eyes. I don't know. That's just like a flyby theory that my bestie made up. So till this day, I still have no idea like what's like the parameter for them to choose the people and why they chose me. But whatever, man. They treated you like a shiny Pokemon. That's what my bestie theorized, you know. Maybe I was like a shiny to them. Like, ooh. I have friends like that. If someone of different faith shown a slight bit interest in their faith, they do try, but at least they were respectful about it. Honestly, it's like not my... I've had a lot of people do that to me too, but for most of the time, I don't mind as long as that you're respectful, you know? Because I can always reiterate my boundary of, oh, I'm sorry, but not to offend, but like, I was asking out of genuine curiosity, but you know, I'm not promising. I don't have like intentions right now, at least, to convert or anything like that, you know, so with all due respect. But this guy, so we were like sitting down and they were piling my food with like rice and grilled duck, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, like maybe being treated like a shiny Pokemon isn't so bad and everything. And then one of the seniors started talking about like, so Kay, how attached would you say you are to your faith? Like, how does it play into your life? And I'm like, I don't know. Actually, that is such a heavy question to ask. Are you gonna eat that duck? No? Okay. Anyway, it's like I have some attachment to my faith, mostly because, you know, I was born in it. It's like the only faith that I've ever known my entire life. But but would you say that you are against, like, you know, knowledge, learning the ins and outs of like other faiths, you know? And I was like, no, of course not. I'm not against, you know, just like gaining knowledge in general. And then he started talking about how his faith, their faith and everything, saved them and everything. And I was like, whoa, saved you? And I was like, yes. I was in a to tell you the truth, Kay, I really think that our faith here saved me. I was in such a I was in such a deep, black, pitiful hole, you know, a few years back. And I was like, oh no, how did you get there? What happened? And then he was like, I have to tell you the truth, like I was in a bad place back there, okay? I had an addiction. Can you guess what it is? And I jokingly said, oh, don't tell me it was a porn addiction. And then he said, yes, it was a porn addiction. And I was like, cool beans. I don't know what to do with this information, but like, okay. Classic. Oh man, I don't know what to do with that information, bro. Oh man, so brave of you to admit it. So yeah, this guy gotta find out if he's a Fujo too. And then he straight up, and then I was like, oh, you were addicted to porn. Wow. I don't think I've ever met someone in real life actually who was, you know, like addicted to porn. He was like, okay, it was terrible. And I was like, how terrible? And he was like, there wasn't a day where I can't get on with my day if I didn't jork it, you know? And I was like, and I really thought he was saying that as a joke. So I wanted to laugh, but nobody was laughing. Nobody in the table was laughing. This man, this dude just straight up told me, come join my religion. It saved me from jorking it every day. And I wanted to laugh. I thought he was being funny with it. But nobody in the table was laughing. Not even Michael was laughing. Michael was like rubbing the senior's shoulder, just like, oh, that's so terrible, senior. And he's like, yes, I'm now a reformed man. So I was like, oh, so you don't jork it anymore? Oh man. And Michael was so angry at me because he said like, Kay, like, you gotta stop asking such disrespectful questions. And I'm like, you're the one who told me that. He's the one who just told me he was addicted to jorking it. Fuck you. Oh man. Look, man, all I'm saying is that I think Michael was in one of those groups where he is tasked to bring like a lost lamb into the group to save as part of his mission and everything. With all due respect, I think I am the worst kind of quote unquote lost lamb that you can bring into your group because I don't stop asking questions. Eventually, I even asked, like, the dinner got really awkward because I kept asking the senior with the jorking addiction, like, oh, senior, like, oh, but like, what kind of porn were you jorking it to? Were you like into hentais, like anime hentais, you know, like tentacle shit? Because like, you know, I know. And he was like, why are you asking these questions? I'm like, I just wanted to know because you're the one who opened up. Like, how bad was it? Like, did you like how bad did you like subscribe to Patreons? Okay, like I wanted to know. See, this is why you shouldn't bring me to these kind of dinners, man. It'd be funny if he said furry. If he had said furry, we would have bonded. Okay, so if I were Michael, if I were Michael and I was trying to convert Kay into my cult, I would have just told Kay like, hey, come to my cult, like we like furries. And I was like, oh, you feed me grilled duck and you like furries? Okay, like I'm invested, you know. But no, he didn't wanna tell me what it was that he was jorking to, you know. It Bible black. How that's old. That's old. I haven't heard that in a while. But Kay, he was saved from the furry addiction. I don't know. I don't know. And then okay. And then so that was the well, actually, that wasn't the end of my debacle with Michael. But the point is, the dinner got really awkward, and then thankfully I got saved because my aunt, whom those are my little demons. Excuse me. What are they barking at? Holy shit! Hold on. I'm gonna go check my front gate real quick. There might be somebody. Hold on one moment. Don't go jorking it. Hello. No, my jorking addiction. If only there was a religion to save me. Oh man. Anyway, I don't think I saw anybody in the front gate, so I guess somebody must have been passing by, which alerted the dogs. But anyway. Hello, we didn't jork at all. I'm so proud of you guys. And then the other guy, I don't know. I think he's one of those people who has this, I don't know if you can call it a kink or a fetish, where he straight up eventually told me, let's call this other guy, not Michael. Oh shit. Somebody messaged me. Oh, it's not important. Let's call this other guy, Johnny. Horrible name, but like, so Johnny wasn't as forward as Michael was in terms of like, I'm gonna convert you to my religion. He wasn't that forward. We actually started off being good friends. You know, we were like classmates, and I was like, oh, he's cool. He likes things that I like and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And we like to joke with each other and everything. And we got really close to the point that some of our friends started shipping me with him for some reason, and I was like, ew, no shipping real people, please. I was like, ew, but they were like, but Kay, like, but like he follows you everywhere and blah 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 blah, and I was like, yeah, but like, just because we were close and we talk a lot, that doesn't necessarily mean I like him that way and everything. Is Johnny from a different cult? Yes. I don't know if I can call this a cult, but like eventually there was a point where he straight up told me, oh man, this is even though he wasn't as forward as Michael was, I kind of preferred Michael's reasoning of trying to convert me, which was because maybe, according to my friend's theory, is that he saw a shiny Pokemon and a lost lamb, and he was like, I gotta save this girl and everything. But Johnny, one day, like I remember this so vividly. It was like sunset and everything, and we were like exercising, just like jogging in like our campus's like sports ground, and we were like jogging and talking and whatnot, and then, oh god, you guys, you gotta hold each other's hands while I recount this story. You're not gonna like this. He basically said that he wishes that in the future he can marry me, so that way I'll have no choice but to convert to his religion. So I was like really pacing my jogging, just like 1 2 1 2, and then 1 2 1. What? What? Nope. Ew. I was like, yeah, Johnny. Oh man, sorry, somebody messaged me. Oh man, what if he converts to yours? I really should have given him that counterpoint, shouldn't I? Like, counterpoint, Johnny, you fall in love with me so badly that you convert to mine. You can really tell that Johnny thinks that's romantic, so yeah. And then after that, I was just so confused. I was like, are you joking right now, or is this like your way of confessing to me? Are you confessing to me, or like, are you joking? Johnny, I'm kind of autistic, Seriously, I'm clinically like, you gotta be forward with me, man. Like, what's your point of saying that? And he was like, no, I'm not confessing to you. I'm just saying, like, I think it would be nice, like if I married you, then you'd practically have to convert to my religion, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Michael. I am gonna go back to Michael. It's been good talking to you, man. Bye. I'm just gonna take another lap around the race course, and then I'm just gonna see you in class, Johnny. I'm not even gonna get there. That makes no sense. Why would he just say that if it's not a confession? Because later on, Johnny dated a few other girls from like my class, and at least from the rumors that I heard, he was a how shall I say this nicely? He was a big fucking pussy. Sorry. Those relationships did not end well, and from those stories I got a glimpse of the kind of person Johnny is. So yeah, anyway, dodge the bullet there. And then my friends, who I haven't, like, at the time I haven't like told my friends what happened between Johnny and I, but they were like, why aren't you hanging out with Johnny anymore? Our ship. And I was like, this is why I told you that shipping real people is cringe. Okay, besties, like, this is why I told you not to ship me with him. Actually, don't ship me with anybody. Like, 3D shipping is cringe, boy. Oh man. So yeah, and then when you thought that it was over, sorry, I have I have like I have like 3 people right now who are apparently watching my stream, and 3 separate people who just DM me right now, just like, that wasn't very cool of Johnny. I'm so glad that me being a shiny, desirable by cult Pokemon is entertaining to everybody. But wait, you guys think Michael was done? Oh no. Guys, Michael wasn't done. No, he wasn't done with me. Michael was like, I'm gonna get K no matter what. I'm gonna get that shiny Pokemon no matter what. So one time, this was the funniest. One time, and this was so legendarily funny that even like other people in my class, like if I bring it up to them, they would still laugh at it. So one day, again, as part of like Michael's, I don't know, cult duties and everything, or whatever, like religious mentorship group thingy that was going on with him, that he was a part of, apparently he had this job where he had to ask around people he knew and maybe people he didn't know, and basically take note of their name, where they're from, and their religious belief. So it's like he was gathering data. I don't know. So he was asking around our classmates, just like, hey, like, can I put you into like my data? It's like for my religious mentorship. And everybody was like trying to be respectful. So we were like, oh yeah, man, sure, whatever that can help you, Michael. So he would put like, okay, Peter from like Jakarta, and your fate is blah 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 blah. It's like a survey thingy, right? And then he came to me. I was eating lunch, you know. I had a cup of Thai tea in one hand, and like my other hand, I still remember this. My other hand was holding like sari roti keju, like a cheese pan. And then in comes Michael with his fucking clipboard, right? And he was like, hello, kid. And I was like, oh God. Michael, what can I help you with, my friend? Oh, my dog, sorry. Right? And then like he was like, do you mind if I take a seat next to you? And I'm like, oh, by all means, Michael. So no ducks this time, no, just his clipboard. And then he was like, I'm doing a survey, like gathering data for like, you know, for my seniors. Would you mind if I add you to the roster? And I was like, yeah, sure. So he was like, okay, full name. So I told him my full name, KarmicKrow, first name Karmic, last name Crow. And it's like, okay, hometown, and I was like, families from Bali, lineage wise, I guess. And he's like, okay, cool. And then he was like, and your fate? And I was like, at least civil ID wise, my fate is this. Told him what my you know, formal civil registry fate is. And he was like, I see. And then I shit you not, I'm not even joking, guys. Michael asked me this: do you condemn queer people? And I was like, do I condemn queer? No, I'm chill with them. I'm fine. They don't really bother or harm me or anything. And he was like, I see. So like for example, like one of our classmates, like we all know, like, you know, they're gay and everything. You're fine with them. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. They don't bother me, you know. I'd only ever be angry at them if they actually like did something really bad to me. Otherwise, like, yeah, I'm fine. And he was like, I see. Well, this changes things. And you know what he did? I'm not even joking, guys. This is the funniest thing. You remember when I said that he wrote down what my fate was? After I told him that, he said, well, I guess this changes things. And then he added something next to my fate. You know what it was? He added the word, he added the word liberal. Liberal. He called me a liberal. Oh man. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. Oh man. Dude. Oh, Jesus. Damn, I thought he was gonna be gay. I also thought he was gonna clock me, you know. He was also gonna clock me, just like, is she queer or something? But no, he was like in like really like proper handwriting, just like liberal. And I was like, liberal. Oh man. Oh jeez. Ah, fuck. Sorry. I thought you guys it was gonna be really funny. I can't believe this kind of shit would happen to me. But it happens to me, bro. Oh man. And then he was like, okay. Thank you, Kay, for your information. I'll take my leave now. And then off he goes with his fucking clipboard. Of course it happens to me. That's where I get my term. You guys know that I say this to my friends all the time. I always tell my friends, it's so hard being desirable. It's so hard being a shiny Pokemon, I'm telling you. It's so hard being desirable. Like, I'm sorry, I guess. I'm sorry that I'm kind and smart and attractive. And, you know, I have so many wisdom. I'm so sorry that I'm sexy and I have great opinions. Like, that's my fault. Oh, man. You must be pretty. I don't think so. I don't think so. At least from my perspective, I don't think so. I think what really boosts my social capabilities is just one thing. It's just this one easy thing called not being a dick. I don't know. I truly think that the one thing that's been like helping me when it comes to like connecting with people is just this one thing called don't be a dick. sorry. I'm looking at somebody's DM. Oh man, overpowered really. Jeez. Jeez. You know the craziest thing is that even after everything that he still did to me, Michael, I still like Michael as a friend more than I like Johnny, because Johnny gave me the ick, and once I have the ick to somebody, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. That's when I'll completely cut you off. But Michael, is Michael offensive? Yeah, but somehow I didn't get the ick with him. I just thought he was kind of pathetic, if you get what I mean, you know. Like, is what he did okay? No. Did he trick me? Yeah. But like, I didn't get the ick with him. I just thought he was kind of pathetic, you know. I just thought he was kind of pathetic. So you might not like what I'm gonna tell you what I did, okay? But like around my like fourth or fifth semester, I held a birthday party because I had an aunt. Again, like during some parts of my college, I was living with an aunt. So during like one of my last semesters in college, I wanted to hold a little birthday party, invite a few friends over to my aunt's house, have some cake and everything. And yes, I invited Michael. Oh, guesses are coming. Catch you later. Okay, bye everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have a good day. Yeah. Some of you might not agree with me, but like I invited Michael. Why would you do that? I don't know. I don't know. I guess some sick part of my brain was just like, would Michael's brain combust if I kept giving him mixed signals, you know? Like, you know, the whole thing of like, oh, clearly I'm not interested in converting to your cult, but like I'm still inviting you out to my social functions and everything. Is this to pay back the duck? I don't know. All my friends were also like, okay, why would you invite Michael? And I was like, guys, come on, you know, like Michael's not like Johnny. Michael's a little trickster, and he's like a damn robot, you know, with like his button up and a tie. Who wears button ups and a tie to college and a clipboard? What are you, robot? But like, I don't know. I thought it would be funny. And then Michael was like, sure, I'll come to your birthday party. So Michael did arrive to my birthday party and everything, blah 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 blah. And you know what? I was right. It really ended up being funny. Because after we ate, we stuffed ourselves full. Ate like I remember my aunt cooked me like nasi kuning tumpeng, you know, just like yellow rice and everything for everybody. And then we ate pizza and then cake and everything. We're like so stuffed full. Michael started trying to convert everyone. Oh man. See, this is why I didn't hire any entertainment for my birthday party, because Michael was the entertainment, you know. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to, like, you know, when you're playing like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Planet Coaster, when you're trying to pick up a guest of the park, you're like a god with your hand, just like picking them up into the air, and they like wiggle around, and then you drop them to like a different part of the park. Yeah, I was like that with Michael, you know. I was like, I don't have to hire any like, you know, comedians or like live music and everything. I just gotta open the cage for Michael. Bro started pulling out his AO wheel. Low-key respect his confidence. You're invited. You're the clown. I'm not paying you. That's an insane power play. I know. That's what I'm telling you. Like, I'm really, I truly do think I'm the worst person that anyone could try pulling into a cult, because it'll just end up being like a psychological game with me, you know. He might be low-key neurotic. Yeah, I do think so, you know. I do think so. That's why I can never really hate Michael, you know. I hate Johnny, but yeah, I feel like Michael was definitely a little bit like neurodivergent. So I can never really hate him, you know. I feel like there must have been something that happened that got him really attached to his group and whatnot, and you know, as as offensive as it may be, the things that he's done to me, like I don't have it in my heart to hate him. I don't know. And then he started like, he was like a shark, just like circling the waters. And then he would start like sitting next to my best friend. He would like, so so Adam, like how close you are to your fate. And then Adam is like, uh uh, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. And he's like, okay, how good? Oh man. Oh jeez. I'm sorry in general and for being late to the stream. I forgive you. Thanks for forgiving me. You're very welcome. But yeah. How good? How good what? Oh man. Yeah. But college was like a really crazy time for me. I had two people who were like chasing me around trying to convert me, and I've also had a few friends who stopped being friends with me because one of them actually confessed that their parents told them to stop being friends with me. And I was like, why? And they were like, well, it's because my parents don't trust, like, don't want me to be friends with people of like a different religion. And I was like, oh. Are we talking about, no, we're not that. We're basically talking about like my college experience where I had like two different people from two different faiths trying to convert me to theirs for some fucking reason. At that age, yeah, I mean, honestly, when I learned that that was the reason why they suddenly like ghosted me and didn't want to be friends with me anymore, I was sad. And I was also kind of angry at them because I was like, okay, I get that maybe you don't have the power to go against your parents, but your parents don't live here. You're like me, anak rantau kan? We're both like our hometown isn't here. Like I can just when it's like our graduation time or like our exhibition time where our parents do come here to check on us, sure, I can just act like I don't know you. But like your parents aren't actually here to enforce that rule, right? So you just saying okay with them, I don't know. I feel hurt. Like the thing that hurt me significantly, hold on. Nothing. The thing that hurt me significantly about this friend finally like telling me that they don't want to be friends with me anymore because their parents told them not to. The thing that hurt me the most was that they came from a very underprivileged background. So I know that their parents were struggling financially and everything. And us as a friend group even know that this person sometimes has to skip meals and everything because they don't get sent a lot of money by their parents and whatnot. And out of concern, we were all collectively supporting them, like giving them like extra allowances from our money and everything, including mine. And they were initially reluctant to take it, but eventually as we grew closer, they accepted the help. And I was really glad because like, dude, I've heard like during college, like I've heard so many stories of like college student dies out of malnutrition, like college student dies out of like stress, like college student dies because they don't want to do their pieces and everything, so many things. And I get so concerned that when I learned that this person wasn't eating, we were just like, okay, let's just pull up our money and help them make sure that they eat and everything. And then after all of that, after practically becoming best friends and me trying my best to also get you through this, because when I graduate, I want to be able to graduate next to you, right? You pull up this, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Bro, I thought we were tight. So yeah, it was really hurtful. I was really sad. It was even worse because the person didn't even like, initially they didn't even like confront me or even say it. That they just stopped talking to all of us one day. And then like anytime I texted them just like, hey man, like blah 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 blah, they would like not reply and everything. So we got frozen out and ghosted. And I even learned about the whole like his parents told him not to blah 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 thing. It wasn't even like from him directly. Apparently he told like somebody else, and then that somebody told me, and I was like, man, bruh. So yeah, there you go. It's not great, but they probably didn't want to lose the only thing they've known. I know. Like, I'm hurt and I'm angry that they just shut me out like that. But I'm also trying to be understanding that, not a lot of people have much power to go against their family, right? So yeah. Am I still on like bad grounds with this person? No, I'm actually in okay-ish grounds with them now. I think they've like subtly apologized to me over the years, so we're on okay grounds now. I wouldn't say that like I'm best friends with the person again, but I don't hold any contempt as I did back then. So yeah. Michael, on the other hand, would you believe me that I met Michael? Like, I passed him by like a year after my graduation because I was doing internship in a company, and then every morning I would ride my motorbike, my scooter, to go to the office for my internship and everything. And then as I stopped by a red light, I look up next to me, and on the scooter next to me, it was fucking Michael. And I was like, no way, Michael? And then Michael looked at me and he was like, okay. And I was like, oh, hey man, how you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm doing great. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you still talk like a robot, but like, oh, so good to see you're doing okay and everything. Oh, it was like, yeah, like, are you going to your internship? And I'm like, yeah, you? And he was like, yeah, I am also interning at this place. Okay. And by the time the light had turned green, so I was like, oh shit, gotta drive, bye. And then I went to my office, did my internship for the day, and as it hit like 5 p.m. and I was like, okay, time to clock out and everything, and I was like tidying up my office desk, whatnot, blah 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 blah. I got a text from Michael, and he was like, hi Kay, so nice to see you earlier today. Do you wanna grab some food? Do you wanna grab some food and like catch up? And I was like, I was almost gonna say yes, because I was like, oh yeah, sure, catching up. But then Michael said like, oh, would you mind, also, you work in blah 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 company, right? And I was like, yeah. Oh, so that means your senior must be Mr. blah 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 in that company, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, cool. If you do decide to come to dinner with me, would you mind bringing him along? And I was like, hell no. You want me to bring my boss to you? You want me to bring my boss To hell no, Michael. Michael, sweetie. You're funny, but like, Michael, you're funny, but like, I'm not doing that right here. I like how people, yeah, Michael's gotta get out of here, bro. I like how people, I like how people are like raging in my DMs right now. Michael, my man, come on, dude. Stop. Oh, man. Jeez. Oh, man. So, basically, I think the reason why Michael asked about my boss is because I think at some point my boss or like my boss's family was a part of the same church as Michael's, though I don't think that my boss like has a lot of attachment nowadays to his faith. But I mean, that's all that Michael knows, right? Like, oh, I remember this guy is from the same church and everything. Can you bring him along? And I was like, oh, no, Michael. Can't hate him for trying. It's hard to get a good job. You see what I mean? Like, Michael pisses me off, but like I also like I don't have it in my heart to hate him, you know. Jesus Christ. Oh man. Mike is trying to amplify to your boss. So yeah. I ended up saying no. I was like, oh, sorry, Michael. It's been a long day. I gotta go home, and I think the boss is tired too. And then Michael was like, oh, okay, understandable. What about the weekend? And then after that, I didn't reply to him. I ghosted him. But the thing is, the entire experience was so funny that nowadays his name, like Michael, becomes like an inside joke between me and my friends. Whenever like I fuck up, you know, whenever I fuck up and do particularly immoral things, my friends would say like, oh my god, Kay, my god, think about what would Michael say. And I was like, oh god, you're right. Oh my god. I was like, Michael, you still want to be friends with me? I thought you called me a liberal. Liberal. Oh man. Immoral, are you still committing war crimes? No, by immoral I mean that sometimes I pirate old ass games that I can't find anymore. Sue me. And I always have such a moral guilt about it, just like, oh man, like they don't sell this game anymore. They don't even produce the console of this game anymore. Is it okay for me to pirate it? And everybody's just like, just download it, bro. Just pirate it. And there's always gonna be somebody who's like, Kay, you can't do that. And I was like, why? And they were like, what would Michael say? Ah, man. So yeah, there you go. What would Michael say? So yeah, if any of you are doing particularly immoral things right now or making bad decisions in your life, just don't, because what would Michael say? But I forgot the funniest thing about Michael. Well, it's not like he's watching. Michael, are you watching? No. Okay. Guy named Michael, what? I low-key think, I mean, keep this to yourself, but like the most memorable thing about Michael is that I low-key don't think he's straight. So yeah, like rounding up on the topic of me having a ultra homophobic cousin and me thinking that are you really really homophobic, or are you like closeted homophobic? I think Michael. I don't think Michael is straight. Back to the closeted allegation. Like, I feel so bad for saying this because like trying to assume or like deduce somebody's orientation, like I feel like that's something really foul. Like, I don't have the right to do that. But also at the same time, whenever like I observe Michael, you know, my radar just starts popping, you know. My radar just starts popping, and as far as I know, my radar has rarely ever been wrong. So I was like, huh. This has been a roller coaster. He's a liberal as well. Michael. Liberal. Oh, man. I mean, outing someone without consent is immoral, but what would Michael say? Yeah. So yeah, I always, whenever my friends bring that up, I always tell them like, yeah guys, but like, you know, like it's really rude to just like pinpoint somebody's sexuality and out them like that. Remember, that's my opinion, okay? That's my gaydar, okay? It doesn't have to be the truth, okay? I can be wrong, okay? I'm not always perfect, guys. That's my opinion. I'm not always perfect, guys. I know this may be shocking to some of you, but I have to admit to you guys, like, confession, my deepest darkest secret is that, you know, I'm not actually perfect. I'm sorry you guys had to learn this way. Man, like, let me like confess some of the bad things that I've done over this week alone. Evening Crow, miss you, and Eid Mubarak. Hello, welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by, and Eid Mubarak too. No way, I can't believe it. Say it ain't so, dude. I mean, what bad thing did I do this week? I'm so perfect. Wait, let me think. Oh, I went on a blocking spree on Twitter this week. I say that like I've just like murdered somebody. I went on a blocking spree this past week on Twitter. I have this thing called I have like a gaydar, but I also have this general radar in my stomach. You know, I have a very sacred belly where in it lies what I call my gut. And I'm the type of person who always follows my gut feelings and everything. But I have this thing where sometimes I'd see a person and they don't even follow me or anything, but they could be like the oomph of an oomph and everything who just pop by my timeline. And they would tweet something, and the tweet itself isn't particularly like offensive or harmful or anything, but something about what they say or how they say it sometimes alerts my belly. Sometimes something that they say like alerts my belly. And I was like, I have a really terrible vibe about this person. And it's not as simple as oh, they're annoying, or oh, they're loud, or like, oh, they're cringe. I don't mind that because I'm all of that. I'm loud, cringe, and annoying, right? But like those things, I don't care. But sometimes I just get a really terrible, 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 terrible vibe about somebody. And when I do get that, I just block them. And then back a few years ago, I might have used like blockchains, just like blocking from one person, and then anybody else who's like connected to that account, boom, everybody gets blocked too. But eventually I was like, actually that's kind of unfair, because then I'd be blocking people who don't really deserve the block and everything. So nowadays I really have to like personally block people. I'll tell you, like, the kind of bad vibes that I get, my belly gets. I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty, but sometimes, okay, sometimes, oh, this is gonna be so crazy, but like, sometimes, and this has happened multiple times, I get a really terrible vibe from somebody that's super likable by everybody else, and then my brain just starts to tell me like, I think this person is a groomer. I think this person has an attraction to minors, whether they realize it or not. Right? And I always feel like, okay, that's so insane. You can't just like clock this out of somebody just at a glance, just at the just from their vibe, especially if there's somebody that's like well known and like famously liked by everybody. Why am I thinking this? So I would always run to my friends and I would be like, guys, can I confess something? And they were like, sure, okay, what's up? And I was like, I have a terrible vibe about this guy, And they would be like, what? Why? And I can never explain it to them. I was like, I don't know. It's like, it's my belly. It's my gut. My gut is telling me like, I just have this feeling of dread, dread and like some sick form of disgust whenever this guy speaks. And they're like, what do you mean? But like, they're so charismatic and everything. And I was like, yeah, but like, I don't know. Anyway, flash forward and turns out they were a groomer. So thank you, belly. I don't know, okay? I don't know. Jesus Christ. Bruh, I know. It was so crazy because then like about a year later, there was like this whole entire like Google Doc about the things that this person has done, including, grooming and pedophilic tendencies. And I was like, vindication! Did you eventually get vindicated? I did! Multiple times, so that's why I'm like, I have a sacred belly. Not saying that I'm right all the time, but on the chances that I'm right, it's always like something really terrible, So yeah, it was really wild. And then my friends would be like, hey, how the fuck did you know? And I was like, I don't know. It's the vibes, okay? It's the vibes. So my best advice to anybody, is that it's so, I don't know. I'm like, what's the best way to word it? It's And before anybody makes any assumption, I'm not just talking about like the VTubing or like streaming sphere. No, no, no. This is just like general. Like, I mean, it does get into that sphere, but like I'm talking about, it goes beyond that. It's like just like general lesson that I've learned about life is that it doesn't matter how charismatic or how well liked somebody is, how funny they are, how attractive they are, the kind of community or following they have. If your gut tells you something, sometimes you just gotta give it a listen. That doesn't mean that you gotta go like full tinfoil hat and start like blindly accusing people and everything. No, don't do that, because again, even my gut isn't always right? Like it's wrong multiple times too. So, but if no matter how nice a person may look, if your gut is telling you to be careful around them, be careful around them. Okay? I mean this seriously. Seriously. This is why even I have to practice some level of distance with you guys, because I obviously acknowledge that you guys are here giving me your time of the day, and I'm super grateful for it. And you guys are basically a community that I have to nurture and everything. I know that. But at the same time, it's these kind of lessons in life that makes me always have to practice some kind of distance, like a respectable distance between me and my community, because it's not just about like, oh, you guys potentially hurting me. No, it's also like me potentially being a horrible person to you guys, So like real talk, I'm gonna like push away my narcissism aside, but like real talk, like even me, like you never really know what kind of person I am, right? I could be an awful human being. I could be a person who's done like so many terrible things, but like because I know how to work up my charm and everything, it's might dull like the senses that your gut is giving you. All I'm saying is that just be careful. Just be careful, please. I feel like there should be a class for content creator about this. All I'm saying is that in the world that I live in right now, or I wouldn't say circles, because my friends are limited. The people who I truly call friends are limited, but in the kind of like industry path that I'm in right now, I don't know if you would believe me when I tell you that it's rife with predators. Okay? It's so fucking full of predators, groomers, and cheaters. And other things that are worse than that, but those three are like the top three, okay? So that's why I'm not ashamed to tell people, like, I'm not that good at making friends. I don't have like a large pool, like a large circle of friends to choose from. I'm not ashamed to say it, because a lot of people have been bitten before. I have been bitten before, and that has forced me to exercise some caution, Hollywood was like this, so I doubt, I don't doubt it's the same in what's basically Hollywood too. Yeah, I think No, you're literally invaluable, and I'm not parasocial. But yeah, it's bad. When I said class, I mean like a teaching class. No, I kind of, yeah, basically showbiz is unfortunately really chock full of that. You know, I'm not saying I'm not somebody who's never made mistakes before. I've made a lot of mistakes in the course of, like, you know, putting myself out there publicly as like a content creator, even if it's only a hobby. I've made a lot of mistakes, but every time I curse myself or like, oh man, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? In comes somebody who does something way worse, and I'm like, what? And then after that person, in comes somebody else who does something even worse than that, and I'm like, what? Oh my god. Ugh. I think, at least when it comes to streaming or VTubing, I don't have any doubt in people's ability to create content, to find inspiration and creativity. I wholeheartedly believe that most people who are undergoing, like, you know, trying to be like full-time streamers or whatnot, or, you know, just like a full-time content creator, putting yourself out there publicly, having a community, I don't doubt that people are smart and they're creative and whatnot. What always concerns me is that I think people sometimes forget that the ability to manage a community, basically PR and everything, it's also essential when it comes to, you know, trying to be a content creator. Because what I've seen is that, you know, some people, like, they become a content creator and, you know, they get big, and then suddenly that inflates their ego really bad, and then all of a sudden they just don't know how to handle their community, or even worse, they start preying on their own community. Those are always the worst. Ew. It's like a main reason why a lot of VTuber agency fail. I don't really like follow. I will admit, I don't really follow many, like, I don't know, like VTuber-esque news all the time. I'm a bit too busy for that, but like, I think for anybody who wants to who's interested in becoming a content creator, even if only for a hobby and whatnot, but, you know, wishing that it can be an endeavor that's like a full-time job to them, like, that's the dream, right? Yeah, I fully support you, and I don't say this to scare anybody, but more like just a reminder to, you know, you gotta always protect yourself. You gotta protect yourself from yourself, and then for other people, because, like, it's bad enough that other people are trying to prey on you. Sometimes you get too lost in the sauce that you forget yourself. So yeah. I think, like, I'm able to say this now because I've had a lot of like, I don't mean to say this to concern you guys, so promise me that, you know, you're not gonna freak out or anything, but like, ever since I quit a certain job from like about 3 years ago, time flies and everything, I've had to endure a lot of gear shifting and admittedly depression that came after that. It was really rough. It was really, really rough for me. Lots of things happened. Gained friends, lost family, gained family, lost myself, found myself, and everything. But yeah, it it was a really difficult time, and there was even a point where there was even a point where there was like this period of like a week, 2 weeks where I would cry every day. I would cry every day to my friends or alone. And there are even like moments where I truly thought, like, after strokes and strokes of bad things happening to me, I really thought that I had nothing left, you know? I just lost completely everything that made me worthy of what? I don't know. Worthy of people's love, worthy of people's attention. I don't know. But like, lots of bad things happen, and I lost so many things in an instant. And I'm not proud to admit that even at that lowest points, I started to think about attempting things that I'm not proud of. But you know, those happen. But looking back, I think, even if this is kind of cruel for me to say, but I think in a sick way, I'm kind of glad that I went through all of that. I know that's like something really mean for me to say to my past self. Like, I wouldn't wish for anybody to go through what I had to go through during those like 1 year of like depression hell and everything. But I even like, I made the tough decision to like, I think I'm just gonna like lay low on social media, and I think I'm gonna quit streaming. You know, I tried continuing streaming and everything, but it just didn't feel right doing it when I'm not mentally healthy and everything. So I gave up. Sorry, burping. I gave up on a lot of things. I gave up on drawing. I gave up on streaming because no matter how much I did it, it doesn't cure what I was feeling back then, you know. So even though it was really hard, I had to go cold turkey and stop, you know. So if anybody is wondering, like, okay, why did you announce that you were like, you know, deleting your channel contents and stopping? It was because of that. It was because I realized I've gotten severely addicted to a certain kind of approval from the internet. And while seeking approval is valid in my eyes to a certain degree, in my case, I think it's gotten to a degree where it just made me so miserable. So yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and tell people like, no, you can't be seeking approval. Hey man, we're all human. I think it's valid. I think it's incredibly valid. But me personally, it's gone to the point where I think I'm worthless without it, you know. And when I start thinking like that, I was like, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be the kind of person who doesn't know how to function in real life if I don't get any like internet click points, you know. So yeah, and then and my friends were really concerned because they were like, yeah, but if you're like addicted to being somebody in the internet, isn't stopping cold turkey like the worst thing that you could do? And I was like, yeah, it is the worst thing I could do to myself, but it's like plunging my face into an ice bath, you know. I really do have to shock the system. I really do have to give it the worst so that, you know, so that you need to stop. So yeah, that's basically a big reason why I stopped everything. I lay low. I mean, I'm back now, but I'm really glad, in a sick sense of way, I'm really glad that I allowed myself to go through those terrible times, because yeah, like you said, I think I came out stronger and I came out healthier, And I like doing streams now because I don't care. Oh man. I know that sounds horrible, but like the healthiest way I've put it is that at least when it comes to streaming, and trying to be somebody, trying to be like a celebrity or even like a micro celebrity, like on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever. I've gotten to a point where my attitude is like, I don't care. So yeah, I think even though it's kind of ridiculous to say like, okay, I don't care, but like I think that's like the healthiest it's been for me. Internet bird lady doesn't care about us. I'm devastated. But yeah. Um I think I'm proud of myself, I've like I can't remember the last time that I felt anxious about posting an art or posting a tweet or even going live on a stream, because I used to be, would you believe me if I told you that back then I used to be so anxious about like how many people are gonna like it, like how many people are gonna be there, like I have to prove that I'm worth some salt, I gotta prove that, oh shit, like, oh come on, Kay, like I was like beating like I was like trying to train an Uma, but the Uma is myself, and I was like, I every time I had to put myself out publicly back then, years and years ago, I was always filled with like anxiousness, because I tied too much of my self-worth into it. Lately, I post and then I forget about it. I'm really happy because I can't remember the last time I felt that anxious. Because like nowadays I post whatever the fuck I like. I post and then I close my social media. I forget about it, and then I check back later. If nobody liked it, that's fine. I still made it anyway. If like people like it, cool, Same goes with my stream. Like I even told you guys that when you guys ask like, what, Kate, you don't know how many people are watching you right now? I always tell you guys, no, I don't, because even like right now, I'm not looking at my YouTube dashboard. I don't know how many people are watching me right now. I don't want to know. Like I'm gonna know eventually when the stream ends and YouTube gives me like the statistics and everything number. But like for now, I really mean it when I say I'm just glad to be here, And whenever my friends ask me like, you're gonna go stream at this hour, and I'm like, yeah. And they would like joke like, you think anybody's gonna show up? I'm so happy that I I can't remember the last time I felt anxious, because you know what I always tell them whenever they jokingly ask me like, oh my god, how many people do you think they're gonna are people gonna come and say hi to you? I always tell them, yeah, people are gonna come. Yeah, people are gonna come. Doesn't 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 matter anymore. How much doesn't matter, but some people might call it me being narcissistic. I'd say it's more like me having faith in myself. Yeah, we come. At least one guy. Oh, you don't want to know, but the number is very funny. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah. I think I think in more ways than one, I've bloomed too. Maybe not in the way that I expect myself to bloom, but I think I've also had to let go of so many things that were burdening me back then. And, you know, um, I have a lot of people criticize me by telling me that I made the wrong decision by leaving something really good that I had. Oh, but you're washed. Nobody cares about you. Like, what are you gonna do? Build a community from ground up again? Like, yeah, I know I'm washed, but I don't care. I'm still here. I'm still doing what I like doing. I think that's enough for me. I'm sorry that I'm washed. But yeah. Not only did we come, we waited 15 minutes. You did not wait 15 minutes for this stream. You waited 15 minutes for the other stream. That was because I forgot to go live. Maaf lahir batin ba, gagal selamat lagi. Mohon maaf lahir batin, teh, terima kasih. But yeah, whenever people, I mean, like, here's the thing, I'm not against people. Gimana ya bilangnya, like, I acknowledge that most people here are here because they found me from one of my previous jobs. I don't mind that. I acknowledge that and I appreciate that, I appreciate that people are still welcoming me with open arms, even like after I've gone and disappeared for a little bit there. But like, I really appreciate that, so I'm never not going to acknowledge that part of my past, right? But I've also had people who, like, whenever they talk privately to me, they don't stop bringing that up. And at some point, it gets tiring, It gets tiring because I'm like, yeah, thank you for reminding me where I had come from. I have so much love for it, but also so much regret for it. But I've grown and bloomed, and I think I've found a balance where I'm healthier and happier, And I don't think I would trade that for anything. Yo, Chad, you okay? Can't stay. Just wanted to say hi. Thank you, Dare Brain. Hope you have a nice stream. I hope you're having a nice day too. Thanks for forgiving me. You're welcome. But yeah, that's basically it. Like, I've had people privately asking me, like, why don't you like actually touch or talk a lot about that, that thing that happened in your past? And I'm like, I mean, there's not much to talk about. I acknowledge it. It's there. And I acknowledge that most people here are here because of that, I'm not against that or anything, but it's just like I've done too much work on myself now to want to be reduced to only that, So yeah. And I'd like to think that the version of I am now is also the me that is more free to choose which sides of me that I get to share with you guys, So yeah, I think, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think people are also, learning a lot of things about me that they couldn't have learned before in different environments and everything. And I like that for me. So yeah. The Michael story was way more interesting and funny, let's be So yeah. The hard thing now is that I'm completely on my own. The hard thing to do now is that I'm completely on my own. I'm a free bird, but I'm also a solo bird. But to tell you the truth, I don't think I mind being alone. And I don't think I mind, you know, doing many things alone. Even like, like I've told you guys many times, like this channel, my Twitter and everything, all of it are like just amalgamations of creations of efforts that I made all by myself. I don't have a team. I don't have a team. I don't have a manager. I don't have like technical supports if you if you count out my mods and everything. But my mods are just my friends and everything. So I'm completely on my own. But I don't mind really. So and I hate this. I wanted this stream to be funny. Why did this turn into something sincere? Okay, fine. Fine. I'll be nice for once in a while. I won't be sarcastic. So that is all to say that I know, well, it's because it's already happened, because I know some people in my life are kind of weirded out by the significant changes that has happened to me personality wise, but I don't want to apologize for that, and I don't want to apologize for being a short. I am healthier mentally than I've ever been, emotionally too, and I'm glad to be here. And I don't think I've ever really gotten the chance to say this, but just a big thank you, just a big thank you too, because like honestly, I was thinking to myself like, oh, I'm just gonna quit cold turkey, just be gone from social media and streaming and stop everything. And I remember having the fear of like, but then everything you work for, the community and everything, the acknowledgement and approval from people of the internet is just gonna vanish. And I had to swallow the pill and just like, yeah, I might just become a nobody again, and that's something that I have to do to find myself again. But then I go back to streaming, and turns out I still have some of you here who still open me, who still welcome me with open arms, and I don't think I ever got the chance to properly thank you guys for that. So, for once, I would like to sincerely offer my thanks as well. She doesn't hate us. She tolerates us. Morning, Kay. I'm hearing you love us. No? Opened you. Yeah, you opened me like a can of sardines. Oh, Sandon, thank you for the super sticker. But yeah, perasaan gak pernah buka puasa bareng, soalnya gua tidak puasa. Tapi aku suka ikut bukber sih, meskipun aku tidak puasa. I just like being with my friends. Jinx, you owe me a soda. But yeah, that's basically what I feel. I feel like, I still have a lot of problems in my life, but those are like my personal problems, right? My problems with myself, my health, family, friends, and whatnot. Those aren't things that I'm gonna bring to my stream and everything. But, when it comes to streaming, when it comes to putting myself out there, when it comes to creating and just trying to find what kind of person I do want to be publicly in front of people like this and everything, I don't think I've ever been happier. So yeah. So even though this is really mean to say to past K, I don't regret making past K stop cold turkey. I don't regret going through so many depressing things because I really had to slap myself there. You know, kind of mean thing to do, but like I do really think I'm the type of person who, once I've already gone a bit too bad, I really need a good and hard smack against myself to wake myself up and everything. So yeah. El Shadow Ban L. Wait, let me read that. El, thank you. Thank you for coming back, our can of sardines. Yeah, I'm glad I'm back, you know. But yeah, how many times do you slap yourself if I may ask? Oh man, back when I was like super messy and everything, I would like mentally, you know, not physically, but like mentally smack myself every day, you know, because like, oh man, oh my god, I got back to a wholesome talk. Jarang-jarang ya. A rare K heart to heart. So yeah. This is also me being at my worst was also a huge shift in me learning who I can call my like closest friends are. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, you know, the people who couldn't tolerate me at my worst aren't my friends. I still do think those people are friends, but I think even like friendships have their own hierarchy and everything. You know, you got your best friends, you got your ride or dies, and you got friends, and then you got acquaintances and everything. But being at my worst also helped me open my eyes to like the people who has been with me. And this is not to discredit anybody else who I do love in my life and whatnot, but I always find myself returning back to the people who has been with me and seen me since even before I started streaming. Even before I became somebody, they've always been with me. They were with me before that. They were with me during that. They were with me after that. And now, fast forward years later, they're still with me, you know? So if I get like really clingy and protective over those sets of friends of mine, that's because of that, you know? That's because of that. And I don't know if this is like an advice that I can give to other people. This is more like something that works for me is that, yeah, thanks, Michael. Something that works for me is that when you're, I don't know, when you're like a content creator, or when you find yourself and you happen to be, you know, in the showbiz industry or in a field where everybody around you, friends and foes alike, are all like somebody, you know, don't let go of your friends who are just average Joes, you know. Seriously. I know this might sound kind of mean for calling them like average Joes because they're not like a content creator. Oh, sorry, that was my grab. I know it sounds kind of mean for like saying like average Joe just because like they're not like a content creator or something, but seriously, you know, keep your normie friends. keep your friends who are just an office worker, who are just doing 9 to 5, you know. Keep your friends who support you even if they don't know what the fuck it is that you're doing. Because, you know, eventually it was those friends who brought me back down to earth whenever I start floating with my own, like, with my own self-condemnation and everything. So yeah, I do mean this because like I seriously mean this when I tell people that having a job that requires you, having a job or a hobby that requires you to be in constant spotlight, it changes a lot of gears in your head. And once you're not that person anymore, I think some people have, I say this because I also struggled with it, you know, and I still am learning even now. But I think once you're not that person anymore, some people find it extremely difficult to undo those gear shifts in their head, you know. And for me, what worked best was allowing my normie friends to slap me. Not really slap me, you know, but just basically like allowing my normie friends to pull me back down to earth and let me know that, hey, you know, there's a life to live beyond the screen and everything. And I was like, oh shit, you're right. If anything, KarmicKrow wouldn't be able to exist if Kay, the person that I am in real life behind the screen and, you know, fancy smanchy life 2D and everything, KarmicKrow wouldn't be able to exist if Kay wasn't happy, right? And I'm so embarrassed to say this, but for the longest time, it was kind of backwards for me. You know, you think that the logic is pretty clear, right? Like, the persona can't exist if the actual person, flesh and blood behind it, isn't happy. I mean, I'm learning that now, but when you're in the thick of things, when you're like lost in the sauce, it's so easy to have that all reversed, you know, because that's what I did. I sacrificed too much of my person to be my persona, and I had to pay a really heavy price for that, you know. So yeah, there you go. How long have I been streaming? Hold on, let me check. 2.5 hours, not bad. Okay, but anyway, did I just hear persona? Yeah. I am thou art I. But anyway, I think I'd like to conclude my talk here. I really meant this to be like a funny stream. So sorry if it got really heavy for a second there. I'm sorry. I was sincere with you guys for once. I'm sorry you guys had to hear me open up for once. Sorry, sorry you had to hear how human I am. But yeah, it's like 12:30 and I think I gotta do some chores and I gotta cook lunch. I'm hungry, so I gotta eat. We got the Michael bit. I hope you enjoyed the Michael bit. You are human. Unfortunately, I haven't exactly ascended into godhood yet. How dare you be a human and not a crow? I am so sorry. I know, it's a scam. You're just gonna have to live with it. But yeah. Homan. I already make nasi goreng. Oh my god, nasi goreng. Oh man, now I want some nasi goreng. But yeah. No, my immersion. But Kay, what about your K vape? Huh? Get it? K vape because okay, whatever, you don't care. All right. I think that's all I have to say for now. Thank you for attending the stream, everybody. I appreciate the time that you give me. I know I always act like a bratty, smug, narcissist bird, but I swear I do appreciate your time. Happy holidays, Kay. Happy holidays. I hope you guys will enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you're still on the Indonesian national holiday, Cuti Bersama, I hope you get to enjoy it to the fullest. You still have one more day left before we all have to go back to work to Wednesday. Good morning, good afternoon, or maybe good night if it's night on your end. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Where's my ending begin? How's your holiday, Kay? It's been okay. I actually spent most of it sleeping and working because I have so many things to catch up on. So yeah. It's ass o'clock here, so good night, Kay. Have a good lunch, Kay. Thank you. If you weren't a brat, how would we know it was you? That is true. But anyway, I saw like a few people uploading fan arts of Skipper under my tag. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Oh shit, I completely forgot about my C part. Hold on. Let me Google some fun facts for you guys. Sorry. Shit. Let's see. Did you know that it typically takes up to an hour for a bird to lay an egg? Cool! So the next time you make an omelet and you crack an egg into your frying pan, I'd like you to remember that a bird painstakingly pushed that thing out of her body for an hour, so don't go wasting your egg, people. I'll see you all later then. Bye-bye!